Hi everyone, how you doing? Now I hosted this Q&A today to answer any questions in regarding my online program I'm launching. Now we haven't actually had anyone turn up. That's not the first time it's happened, so let's not panic. Let's not worry about it. But so what I'll do, I'll spend this time just talking a little bit about the program. If anyone comes in and has any questions, then we'll answer that. But what we'll do is I'll just talk you through the framework, the reasons why I'm doing it. And then if you do have any questions and you're listening to the recording of this, you can just email me, message me, and we can answer them that way. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Johnny Bevan and I'm the police burnout coach. A little bit about me, I'm a detective in Bristol. I work on the child protection, which we call Ruby there. And I've been in the job 17 and a half years, going to be 18 years in June. So it's probably more about 17 and a half, isn't it? And I've worked in an array of jobs. I've worked I started off in uniform in Bath, did about 3.5, 4 years there. I then went to squads and did all the sort of squad work on the proactive squads there. And then I went in 2013, I did my CAD exam and I went off to over to Bristol Kennisstill House, where I started my sort of life as a detective. And I worked on public protection. I had roles in OIC, like covert roles, and then back to child protection. Did a stint in MSIT for a bit, and I've also done went to the ROCU and I was on the regional undercover unit, which was really interesting work. Unfortunately, it's sort of around the COVID time, so didn't get quite as much experience there as I wanted. But then came back to child protection. So, but the thing is, during that time, I had a few occasions where I was really, really close to burnout. In fact, I was in burnout, but I wouldn't have really recognized it as it. I just felt that sort of mental fatigue, exhaustion, lost my love for the job, and I found actually policing really, really hard. And I came across coaching, and it just changed everything for me. It really changed everything. I actually started coaching because my wife had come across it and started saying to me that the job wasn't the problem, it was me. I didn't really take that very well to start with, but eventually, after about 9 months, I sort of went with it, got coached, and it made such a difference to me. It basically shone a light on the real issues that I was facing, which was that I was a perfectionist. I feared failure, feared judgment of others, and actually it was that was the problem. And as I got coached, I worked on those things and things started to change. My productivity went up, my procrastination went down, as you imagine it would do if your productivity's gone up, and my stress level was a lot lower. And it's not that I don't feel the emotions of stress, but I know how to handle them now. So I'm not taking that home with me. I suddenly wasn't finishing the day feeling exhausted and depleted, and it costed me my rest days. I was actually feeling quite energized. So I then certified as a coach, a life and weight loss coach, certified with the Life Coach School, which is a company in the States. And then I started coaching people, sort of not just police officers, just sort of anyone really. And then I soon decided I wanted to make the coaching police officers my sort of expertise. I thought, because I'm in it, this work has got me out of it. And as in out of burnout, and I could just see so many benefits for the police. So I did a certification in burnout, started coaching more police officers, and it was having a real sort of impact on them. And then recently I did a time hacker certification, which was all about time management. Because what I found was in burnout, most people in burnout, their productivity's dropped. Now, if you are a perfectionist, procrastinator, your productivity is going to be low. So that can contribute to the burnout, but also, so it's like a cause of the burnout, but it's also a symptom because when you're feeling that mental fatigue, feeling exhausted, what's the first thing that happens? Your productivity drops. So I started doing loads on time management, love time management because it's all about managing you, not time. And what I found was I was doing this coaching one on one. And I was coming across so many people that were interested in this work, but weren't necessarily ready to make the investment in one-on-one coaching. I know for me, I love one-on-one coaching. It's that sort of intimacy, people sort of sharing and coaching them through. But one thing I noticed was that a lot of people would go, "Oh, was there something wrong with me? Is this just me?" And I would share stories with them of, you know, obviously not give any names or anything like that, but maybe share the circumstances of another client where you go, actually, this is someone else that experienced this similar situation. But still, people didn't really quite, I don't think everyone really believes it. We always think we're the only one. And as I've done more presentations and inputs for the police, as people open up and share, a lot of people go, that is some of the most powerful stuff when they go, oh, it's not just me. This is normal. And there's nothing wrong with me. What I'm experiencing, everyone's experiencing, but it's just they're wearing a big old mask and trying to hide it. So then I came up with this idea that I wanted to make this as available to police officers as I could. And so I thought, right, one of the things I had this idea of creating an online program, putting all the things that I've learned into a sort of self-taught, self-led program where you can go through all module based with videos, it's very short videos because we're all under time constraints, aren't we? That you can use as sort of an aid memoir and also worksheets and things like that. So you can learn how to self-coach and start doing this yourself and having access to group coaching. Because some people, I know a lot of police officers, we don't want to be part of a group or community. We can be a funny old lot, can't we? Where we don't like, we're very in the face of the public and people. And often we don't, a lot of police officers, and I know I'm like this, when you come on your rest days, you don't really want to be socializing all that much sometimes. Maybe you're different. I just know the thought of a Facebook group just brings me out in hives. Just don't like it, don't interact with them really. And a lot of people aren't even on social media. So I come up with this idea of this online course where actually it's not like a group. Like if you're on there, if you're just signed up to this program, which I'm going to talk to you about, then what it is it is just like you would just have access to it and see the content. But then I also thought there's going to be people there who will benefit from the coaching, and that's going to be probably the biggest asset of this program is the coaching, and seeing other people coach is really impactful. So I thought, well, we can add that in and have access. People can have access to coaching and actually experience it. So that's where how I've got to where I am now. And what I want to do to you, don't want to do anything to you. Just want to talk to you about the program, just the rough outline, and then if it's something that you like, talk about actually how you can contact me and actually book your place on this program. So this is what it's called, Stress to Success, because that's exactly what it is. A lot of people are stressed, they're not enjoying the job, they've lost the spark, they're overwhelmed, and it is just costing people their health. I think it costs the ultimate thing. It costs you your health, might even be impacting your relationships and your family. If you're going home tired and stressed from work and not wanting to do a lot, and your partners are coming and go, well, what's wrong with it? What's wrong? We want to be doing stuff. You haven't got energy to do stuff with your kids. If that's you, this course is for you. Now, what I found is that the people that I generally coach are self-critical perfectionists, often people pleasers as well. And it's that type of person that's attracted to the police because we have that level of attention to detail and sort of that high standard, which is that sort of perfectionist standard. But a lot of us are self-critical, beating ourselves up when we make mistakes because we don't want to get things wrong because of the sort of the cost it has. And also, it attracts the people pleasers because people that care put other people before them. And it's those traits that attract us and sometimes make us good at our job, maybe get us results. But it's also those same traits that burn us out. So this is what I'm going to do is show you throughout this program how to become aware of the traits, behaviors that are not benefiting you, and if you want to change them, to change anything permanently. Okay. So it's called Stress to Success because you are going to be a very different person after you've gone through this. And it's about beating burnout in the police. Now, when I thought about doing this, because I coach people that aren't in the police, I was thinking about opening it up to everyone. But I thought, do you know what? We talk about stuff in the police, which other people, if you're not police, wouldn't get. You just, you could turn up at the most horrific job, but then the real problem be that you think that your team think you're a slacker. So it's the same things that everyone else is going through. But I thought when we if we have this just police, then when we're talking, we're not getting sort of sidelined by people sort of being like horrified when we're talking about the context of a job. Because the coaching is we're not normally dealing with that. Because if you are traumatized by a job, then actually maybe coaching isn't the thing you need. Maybe it's more counseling or therapy. But saying that, what I found is coaching has helped me lots with that impact that the work has. I work on child protection. I feel a lot of emotions go into houses and addresses or having people pull out of investigations. I feel lots of emotions like disappointment and sadness. And this work has really helped me be able to process that and so that it doesn't manifest into something else. So I think it really has benefits. If you've turned up at a job and it does affect you, then don't rule this out. And if ever you're in a coaching situation and we're going through that, and I ever think, actually, there's someone else you need to speak to, I can speak to you after about that. But this is what it's about, beating burnout in the police, because you can have this career and it not burn you out. I promise you. The job does not have to change before the stress is lifted. And I don't expect you to see that right now, but this is why you're here to learn this. So it's going to be module based. Okay. This is going to be modules and I'm building it as we go. So we've got this one at the moment, the fundamentals. And this one's actually pretty much being built now. We've got all the content, but that is going to be all the key sort of tools and concepts that are going to be used throughout the program. So that's a really important module because it's going to be talking about what stress is, what burnout looks like in the police, who it affects. It's going to be, you're going to learn the self-coaching model and how to separate out thought from fact, which is huge. Even that will change. That is worth the money alone that you're going to pay because just when you can separate thought from facts, you can realize actually this stress is not caused by my situation, it's caused by the meaning my brain has given to it. You're going to learn about how the brain works because that's really important because we don't know how the brain works. We haven't been ever taught this. And when you understand the brain, what you can do is you can have compassion for it and go, it's not helping me in this situation, but it hasn't got any ill intent. It's just trying to protect me. So then you can move forward with that. So that is going to be a module of learning those concepts. And there's going to be short videos. I think the longest one's about 20 minutes, but I try to keep them between 10 and 20 minutes. And it's going to be something you can go back into and use the reference guide. Then you got this one, probably one of my favorite modules. The more I do on time management, the more I love it because I find as you get more productive, it just makes you want to do more, but actually you have more time to yourself. And one of the key things I've learned is I thought when I got more productive, I'd be happy. But actually, I realized being productive didn't make me happy. Being happy made me more productive. So this work and this fundamental of managing our mind and being able to control, sort of manage our energy helps us manage our time and our workload. Now, in this time management module, you're going to learn all the concepts I've learned from lots of different areas that I've then, over the last 6 years, been doing and sort of work making it fit for the dynamic nature of the police. Because this is the thing, the police is so dynamic. And all the time management things I was learning was very much based around business, where people could switch everything off and not be disturbed. And they didn't have the red phone going. They didn't have those people when there's only the phoning up. And you take that call at 5 in the afternoon when you're just about to go home, and it's your very vulnerable victim that's about to kill themselves or about to harm themselves. You can't just go, "Oh, I'll deal with that tomorrow." So I've taken it all, and I've I really have this framework now that really works, and we work in the demand is higher than it's ever been at the moment. But I can assure you, if you apply these techniques, you will not feel overwhelmed. You may experience it, but you'll bring yourself out of it, and you will learn how to manage you and not time. And that is the key thing you're going to learn, that time cannot be managed. Time cannot be managed. It's about managing us. I cover this, and if any of you watching this have been to my presentations, you've heard me sort of talk about it. This is going a deeper dive into those concepts, learning all the barriers that people have, like why we blame time. Because if we're not blaming time, we have to prioritize, we have to ask for help, we have to say no, set boundaries, and we have to have difficult conversations. And then you realize actually it's ourselves that we have to manage to be able to do those things. And sometimes we have to be able to manage ourselves to be able to accept our situation and be flexible and adaptable. And to do that, we have to be flexible. We have to be emotionally flexible. And we're going to cover that all in the time management section. And you're going to learn all the mindset, all the things that hold you back, and also the strategy I've picked up from like the Eisenhower matrix. It's brilliant with the urgent importance. I first seen it in Stephen Covey's book, The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, but it's something that he's used from somewhere else. So I've taken that and we've applied that. It's You're going to learn so many different concepts here that you can then apply and find your way of managing your workload. But what we're going to work on is helping you manage the interruptions. If you're the people pleaser who is just constantly, saying yes to things, and everyone that comes up you don't want to say no to, but then you're finding yourself working on late, and you feel quite sort of resentful towards it. We're going to sort all that out. If you're that perfectionist who finds, you're working this ridiculously high standard, really self-critical of yourself, and you're procrastinating, you're going to learn why we procrastinate and how to stop procrastinating so you can move towards the fear that you're avoiding, so that actually you can uh yeah, you can just stop procrastinating. Now, one thing I haven't put in there actually is there is another module which is motivation. Look at that as another one. I missed that one off. Key one. So what we're going to talk about time management, and I'll talk about motivation now. We are going to talk about motivation, and people talk about motivation, and it's one of the first things that goes when we're in burnout, which makes our job really, really hard. But we're going to show you how to not rely on motivation, because it's nice when it's there, but there's some jobs we don't want to do, and we're just not motivated by it. For me, it's like viewing phone downloads and things like that, doing my unused. Sometimes I just don't want to do it. But we're going to show you how to have that discipline to be able to start, feel that discomfort, and get on and do it. About using commitment and finding your meaning and your purpose and relying on that, and then show you that actually motivation comes along after. And what this stops you doing is it gets you out of the overwhelm, and actually has you finishing your day going, actually, I've done a good day, done a good day's work. This is a big topic, confidence. Confidence and resilience is really lacking, I think, in the police, and it causes all sorts of trouble. And I think mainly it's because we have the wrong definition of confidence. We want confidence before we do things, but confidence is the byproduct of having done something. So it's sort of the cart before the horse. But I'm going to show you how to build self-confidence, which is that ability to identify your fears, feel that fear, and move forward anyway and have your own back. I'm going to show you the importance of the relationships, the key relationships with yourself. Oh, sorry, the key relationships, which include the relationship with yourself, relationship with fear, relationship with failure, relationship with decisions, and relationship with other people's opinions. We're going to show you how to work on those relationships, which will help you manage your time better and will help build your confidence. And a lot of you might think, well, I'm a bit too nervous, I'm a bit fearful, I feel anxious, and that's why I'm not confident. We'll show you actually the fear is an important part of building the confidence. It's about learning to move through that fear, and the confidence is the other side. You're going to learn all of that. Then we're going to learn about decisions. We're always making decisions. We are constantly making decisions every day, whether you're in the police or not, whether you're as in your day, whether you're policing or you're just at home, we're constantly making decisions. But when we don't trust ourselves, when we have low self-esteem and our confidence is low, what we do is we procrastinate over decisions. And then we fear getting decisions wrong, so we don't make them, or we think we're in indecision. We keep flip-flopping between each choice. Or when we've picked one, we get so much self-doubt come up, we keep going back. We keep looking for reassurance and validation, all of which makes us less confident. So we're going to show you how to be really confident in your decisions and actually, instead of thinking them as an opportunity to fail, think of them as an opportunity to learn and build. And I can show you all the things I've learned, and that I use on a day-to-day basis, like the 10-10-10 process from that I recently learned from Susie Welsh, which is a great way of assessing the impact that your decisions are going to have. So how's this decision I'm going to make? How will I feel about that in 10 minutes, 10 months, or 10 years? And this is going to help. It all feeds in. This is going to help your time management. Because when you're thinking about procrastinating and you think, how's it going to feel in 10 minutes if I delay this? Well, it's probably going to feel quite good because I'm going to be doing something more pleasurable. But how's that going to feel in 10 months? Well, pretty bad when I still got this case file and my workload, and my workload's now piled up. If I keep doing this, what's it going to be like in 10 years? Well, it could make me really ill. So we're going to show you all those decision-making techniques and the mindset around it, because this is all about building that trust in yourself, that confidence, which will help you make better decisions. And then that is where I was going to end it, really. But then I'm going to add this extra one. And I want you to know that we will be building on as we go, modules will be added. And as you go through and you tell me what you want, we will tailor make it and put things in there that actually go, actually, I want to hear more of this. And we will get those modules in. But we're going to cover this one we call buffering. This is for any of you that find a comfort eating, overeating, over drinking. If you're stressed and you're finding you're coming home from work and you need to have a drink to de-stress, or you're putting on loads of timber because you're overeating, this is the module for you. I've used this. I've used this work to, I haven't drank for 6 years, stopped drinking alcohol, and all the stuff that came up with that. When you go out and people are used to you being crazy and having lots of fun, suddenly going out and being sober, dealing with all that. And suddenly it seems like you're just having a drink to de-stress. But for me, I found that actually I relied on it a lot for my confidence. So this will also help increase your confidence. We'll show you how to break those habits, those destructive habits that are causing you, actually affecting your health, and in turn will be reducing your productivity. So if you're going home and you're over drinking, you're overeating, that leads to other bad habits like sitting there watching Netflix all night, and then you're knackered, you get up late, you don't make lunch, then suddenly you're eating all the shit from the vending machine, and then you don't feel very well, don't feel great, want to feel better. So what do? You go home and have a drink, and the spiral goes. You're going to learn how to break that by learning how to manage urges. Urges are what drive us to do these things. You're going to learn the habit loop about how if you come home and you go to the fridge and you have a can of beer or you have a bit of cake and then a second bit of cake or nail the packet of biscuits, how your brain remembers those cues of the time, the location, the feelings. And then every time you're in that place or at that time or feeling that way, that's going to be what it wants to do. But we're going to show you how to break that, but not so that you have to give it up. Okay. You can, but you don't have to. But what you'll have is you will have control. And this is, for me, the real key. When you have, when you do this work around all the buffering and you learn how to manage your urges, you can have the thing that you want, but you can plan it in intentionally so that you're not deprived, but so that you're not nailing it all. So that when people bring cakes in to work and then you've eaten them and gone, oh, I really shouldn't have had that, and I'm putting on weight, you can just say no to them without feeling the guilt. And also, you can just know that you can look after yourself. This is really good. Like I said, I've used this to stop drinking, which I've never regretted. My confidence has gone through the roof. And I was out the other night, we're at someone's birthday party. And even though I used to dance when I was sober, I was always quite self-conscious. But we're on the dance floor, chucking some big moves at 46 and singing in front of people and all that stuff that I'd done before. I've had to probably been drunk to do it. When you remove these things, it changes your life. Also, here, because I've used this not only to stop drinking, I'm using it now to give up sugar. Now, I did this work for a long time to cut back on the sugar, but then I realized, as you'll learn through this, of how these false pleasures like sugar and alcohol affect our reward pathways. And actually how when you learn to reduce the desire and then you cut that back, how actually your reward pathway actually settle back down. And what happens is it increases your motivation. So you'll see how each one feeds, how the modules have been carefully sort of designed that they all feed into one another. And I found this recently when I've been cutting out my sugar and I'm not, and I've really controlled how much I scroll on my phone, my motivation for other things has gone up because you will learn all about dopamine and the effects of dopamine. Now, some of you in this program may well have had diagnosis for things like ADHD. Now, I've never had a diagnosis, but I have all the signs and symptoms. Just done a podcast today on it with someone. I have all those things. But what I think you'll find is, and I'm no doctor, so I don't profess to have any medical background, but from my knowledge and experience of coaching people and from this work with me, is if you do this work, then and you start taking away those false pleasures and replacing them with more natural pleasures, actually, I think you'll find that your focus increases. You won't feel so distracted. You won't feel that overwhelmed. Okay, it's going to have a massive impact. So that's the modules. And like I say, there will be more stuff added as we go, but that's the main features of it. And then for me, the bonus, even though it's put in as a bonus, is this is the real value, is the coaching. There's no doubt this is massive value in itself. If you went and just bought a time management course, it's going to cost you probably hundreds and hundreds of pounds. But you get that with all this, and then you come to the coaching. And that is where the change really happens. When you get coached, what happens is you it's basically changing the neural networks in your brain. We're questioning your beliefs, finding out why you behave the way you behave. And just so you know, it's never about me telling you what you need to do. People come with an issue they're facing. It's my job as a coach to show you what's happening. And then if you desire a change, show you how to make that change. But if you go away and you don't make that change, that's also okay. The coaching space is a space where you can bring and you just have this place of non-judgment, not like when you're talking to a friend. This is a place of non-judgment with no opinions on what you're saying. It's just the way I like to think of it is like it's two people in the other person's brain. So we're watching what's going on for you and showing you how to change the habits that you have that are causing you issues. maybe if it's like you notice how destructive your perfectionism is or people pleasing. I coach people pleasers a lot, and they're doing so much stuff that is costing them. Oh, it's costing them so much because they're saying yes to so much, and they're really not enjoying life. But if you want to break that cycle, we'll show you how to break that, and you can come, you can be coached on it. And the power of group coaching is that actually, when you're being group coached, you can, so one person's being coached and the others are listening, you will have the same breakthroughs because you'll be seeing someone, and I can guarantee they'll be going through probably the same as you. And then you'll be able to see that, but without the emotional attachment because you're not involved in that situation that they're in. So it's not, don't think of it as a group thing, as in like suddenly everyone's chipping in. It's not that. Group coaching is you come to the session, you put your hand up if you want coaching, and say the session is an hour long. If we get more people, then we'll extend that. And then you might be coached for 20 minutes, half an hour. If you're the only one that puts your hand up, you might get the whole hour. And you'll find the changes are huge the other side. So, because you, as you go away, you'll start having these sort of awareness moments, these aha moments, and then you can go back and use all this content to sort of cement that in, and you'll have all access to coaching. So that is it, really. What's going to be happening, and what I'm offering at the moment is, so just to put this in context, first of all, my one-on-one coaching is £2,500 for 16 weeks. And that is, it may seem expensive, but that is really, really good value for what you get. This, for starting off, and this is like the starting price for it, is £300. Now that's normally for 16 weeks. But what we're doing is anyone that joins before the launch on the 10th of February, they're going to get 12 months. So you get 12 months of access to all of this and to the coaching, all that for £300. I met someone I was speaking to a little while ago, spent 500 quid on a night out for Christmas with hotel and trying to get drunk, and then moaned about how bad he felt. This is 300 quid for a year, and you will feel, I tell you, you will feel like a different person. So if you're interested, please just feel free to email me. My email is Johnny Bevan, JONNYBEVAN at outlook.com. If you're interested, then let me know. I'll send you the payment link, payment method. You can pay. And then when the course goes live on the 10th of Feb, I'll send you a link. So if you're interested, let me know. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact. Speak to you later. Bye bye.